In today's video, what we're going to do is cover how to manage your diet and your training throughout the holidays so you actually can enjoy it but still not ruining any progress you've actually made so far. So step one, what we're going to cover is your diet. So typically what I normally say is don't overthink it. These extra meals aren't going to ruin months and years worth of progress, which is true. However, some people tend to run with that and go a little bit overboard. So my personal advice would be mindful of what you're eating. You don't have to be rigidly tracking everything that you're eating throughout the holidays, and I wouldn't expect you to. However, we all know when we're being a little bit extra greedy and overindulging more than we usually would. As for me in the past, I definitely know there's been times when I'm completely stuffed. I've had my second slice of cake and I'm actually completely full. However, I still end up somehow getting the third, fourth, and sometimes fifth slice of cake just because it's there in front of me. When it comes to training, personally, I like this approach. Train when you can. Not everyone is going to have a gym that's open during this time. Luckily I do, so I'll probably train. But for those of you watching, if your gym isn't open, or even if it is open, if you don't feel like training as much as you regularly would, then personally what I would do then, rather than completely stopping, I'll just reduce the days or reduce the amount of time you normally spend in the gym. So if you normally train, I don't know, 5 days per week, maybe go down for 3 days per week for that time, or 4 days per week. If you normally train for an hour and a half, maybe only train for 45 to 60 minutes. So personally, I wouldn't recommend like completely stopping, purely because with the extra calories you're consuming, plus then cutting down the amount of calorie burning, it may make the weight gain be a bit quicker. Once people completely stop, it's so hard to get back into routine. So I want you to kind of keep the rhythm somewhat going, even if it slows down, because when you completely quit, when you're trying to get back into the rhythm of things, it's just so much harder. It's like you almost feel like your body's a newbie again. But again, ultimately this is up to you. It's all about what you think will be best for you. Like, people always ask me personally, like at my job, they always say to me, for example, TJ, why do you train during Christmas and various other holidays throughout the year? And it's because they don't realize that I actually enjoy going to the gym. Like, I like it. So for me, skipping the gym isn't like a plus. If I haven't got time to go to the gym, then yeah, I'll miss it. But typically we're just sitting around doing nothing, eating for most of the day. So if there's a spare couple hours, I'll typically just go to the gym, train for around an hour or so. And to be honest, with all the Christmas calories or holiday food in me, the gym session feels pretty damn good. The gyms are typically empty as well, so I can go on virtually many machines I want without waiting. Personally, for me, I enjoy it. So this is my mindset. So what I try to explain to them is that I go for enjoyment. Like, I actually enjoy it. So it's not a case of me going to try and burn off the extra calories from the food I've been eating. So in the event that you actually did gain more weight than you actually planned.
What? Oh no!
Because I'll be honest, during the holiday period, you probably are going to gain a little bit of weight just because you're probably going to be eating more meals than you typically would. So you got friend meals, family meals, and just in general probably snacking a little bit more. Obviously the plan is to be mindful of it, but I'm going to be realistic and say that you'll probably gain a few pounds. So before you start pulling out your hair and like punishing yourself, remember, not all of it is actually fat. A good portion of it is probably going to be water weight, because all these extra high calorie food you're having has a lot more sodium than you typically probably have. So don't think that all of it is fat. And as for how to lose it, my advice is gradually get back to whatever you was doing beforehand. The big problem a lot of people have, especially when it comes to January 1st, is that when they've potentially gained like an extra 10 or so pounds, which is on the high end, what they think is, I want to try and lose all this weight by like Friday, and they start doing some crazy things like big calorie deficits or lots of cardio, which isn't necessary. At the end of the day, once you get back to how you normally would eat and how you normally would train and your regular routine, gradually your body is going to go back to how it normally is. It's the same way, like for example, if you start the gym, you get in shape and you quit the gym, your body will revert back to how it was before slightly, because you're not keeping it up. So as long as you're not still eating crazy amounts more food and just being a lot more lazy, the weight is going to drop back down naturally. The big problem is a lot of people want this really, really quick. Like, they want to eat like shit for like 2 or 3 weeks and lose all the weight in like 3 days, which isn't the case. So I don't want any of you Googling on January 1st how to lose my belly fat in like 3 days, 4 days, 5 days a week. But in essence, the moral of this video is don't be a pig. Don't overstuff yourself. Don't be super lazy. Just be mindful about what you're doing and what you're eating. And just remember that this period of the year is a time for family, a time for friends, and it's a time where you can kind of let your head down a bit. The problem is a lot of people, instead of just kind of like loosely relaxing their diet and their training, they either completely just give up on it for a while and go, oh, it's Christmas, or oh, it's Thanksgiving, or oh, it's whatever holiday, and then next thing they know, they're spiraled out of control and they find it so hard to get back to regular way of life, and then they're just kind of in a rut. So basically, unless you're being paid to actually look good, like your actual visual appearance, it impacts your wallet, I'll just follow the tips I've said in this video. So unless you need to really be the person that really has to push themselves further because you got a competition coming up, or potentially you're in the fitness industry and you know January's fitness month of the year that you need to look in shape, you don't need to overthink it. So try and resist the urge to potentially follow some other fitness influencer or bodybuilder that may be a bit more rigid with their diet during Christmas, because in the end of the day they're being paid to, like they need to, because it's their job. Anyways people, stay getting gains. I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoy your holidays.
Make $1 million cash for you flatline.